Action. Whew. It's been a long time. Sup, YouTube? So, it has been a long time since I've made a YouTube video, and this video is a little special for me. Um, if you guys don't know me, my name's EJ, and this is Nina. And for the new people watching, me and Nina, we're in a relationship, and we started a YouTube channel. Um, Damn, I'm a little nervous. Woo.
I'm nervous.
Um, we started a YouTube channel, and it was a relationship channel, and we did go through a breakup. And when we broke up, I went on there and talked about it, and she did get a lot of backlash, and she didn't really have a platform to talk about it. So in today's video, as you can see, she's here with me, and we just wanted to dive and talk about what happened and her side of the story, and just talk about what happened and talk about our relationship for the new people that are watching us. And yeah, let's get into it. Shall we? Okay, so let's talk about, how we met, how our relationship came about. We can talk about our long distance relationship, and I'll start by saying, for the people that don't know, how did we meet? Do you want me to tell it, or you want to say it, or?
I feel like I should say it because I feel like I had seen in a video that you had kind of told your
Okay, yeah.
perception of how it was and how we met and stuff like that. So I feel like I guess I'll go ahead and kind of say my
Okay.
point of view or my side.
Hold on. Let me make sure everything's rolling. This is raw. I don't want to make any mistakes. Hold on. Okay, we're good.
My nose is running.
Everything's rolling. Okay, we're recording. We're live. Okay, cool. Okay, we're good. All right, cool. All right, let's do it.
um, it'll be more of like a somewhat simplified version because
Okay.
obviously I feel like the long version is long. Um, so back right before COVID,
Mhm.
I went on a girls trip to Miami, and during it being beginning of COVID,
Mhm.
everything was kind of starting to close down, and then they kind of put out the mandate of everything closing early and there being a curfew and all that stuff. So when we were out there, basically there is the night that we got there, we went, we got to the hotel, and then we were like, oh, okay, we need food. We went outside to get food, and there was cops outside like, oh, like everything's closed. You should be inside by 11, which is weird because in Miami, it's Miami. Like Miami, similar to Vegas, it's like always popping.
Right.
So, anyways, we went back up to the room, ate vending machine snacks, whatever, and the girls I was with were like, dude, like we're gonna have to figure out some moves for the time we're here because like we didn't come to Miami just to sit in the hotel room every night.
Right.
So all of us made a Tinder, and we were like, oh, okay, all of us are single at this time. We all make a Tinder, and we're all like, at the end of the day, if we don't catch a vibe, maybe we find a man, like whatever. But we're all hoping we find something to do. Somebody throwing a house party, somebody a college party, whatever. So we all make a Tinder. We're all swiping back and forth to find a vibe. And then I came across your profile, and on your profile, I saw it said you were from Vegas, but obviously it shows like where you are at the time. So it showed that you were out there. You were like a certain amount of miles away from me, and I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, he's kind of cute, whatever. So I swiped, and we ended up matching. Then after we matched, the next day, me and my friends went out or whatever. We ended up getting a guy to invite us to his yacht party. And he came up to us and asked us like, hey, I don't know what y'all are doing tonight or what your vibes are, but I'm having a yacht party, blah, blah. A lot of things close early, but it's my boat. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So obviously I was like, okay, we're down. Yeah, we'll all go, whatever. Then you messaged me on Tinder and we're kind of chopping it up like, oh, how are you? I'm here with my boys, whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm out here for a girls' trip, blah, 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 yada, yada. Then you ended up asking me for my number. You were like, oh, this Tinder texting is weird. I give you my number. So we're kind of texting a little bit. I think we texted 2 messages. Like you were like, oh, it's EJ. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's up? And then you're like, what are you doing later? And I don't think I responded yet. And then you FaceTimed me. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I remember telling my friends, like, oh my God, he's FaceTiming me. Like, this is bold. Like, do we answer? Like,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh my God, answer. I was like, oh, I'm nervous. Like, this we've just been, like, barely talking. So, like, I answer whatever, and you're there with your friends, and you're like, oh, what's up? Like, how are you? Blah, blah, I introduce my friends, you introduce your friends, and you're like, oh, okay, like, what vibe are you all on tonight? And I was like, oh, we're actually going on a yacht. There's, like, a yacht party or whatever we got invited to, and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And you were like, I think you brought up, like, oh, well, like, maybe after we can do something. I was like, everything's going to be closed. So, and you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot there's curfews, blah, blah, and you were like, dang, and you were like, well, can we come with you on the yacht? I was like, I don't know, because it's not my yacht, and obviously guys invite girls, and it's like, that'd be weird if can I bring my friend that's a guy and his friends that are guys? Like, that's just kind of like a weird thing. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can ask, but I already, like, in my head was like, that's like weird if I like text the guy asking, can I bring guys? But I was like, okay, like, so I tried to word it like, oh, these are my friends, like, we're all out here together. Can I bring them? If not, it's perfectly fine. But, like, if so, like, they said they'll throw money or whatever, like, if they need to throw money to come, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, let me do a head count. I'll let you know. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I remember texting you that. And then I think at the same time, both of y'all were texting me. And I was kind of like the middleman of like, okay, let me ask. Oh, okay, let me see. Okay, like back and forth. And then I remember you texted me like, do you want to just see if he'd mind if you gave me his number? Because I feel bad that you're like doing the back and forth when I could just talk to the source and like ask. And if he says no, it's cool. If he says yes, I can talk about how much he needs me to throw him or anything, you know, whatever. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I asked the guy, gave you his number. And then literally, I think at the same time, you both text me like 5-7 minutes later saying you guys knew each other from Vegas. So I was like, wow, like that's wild. The likelihood of that happening is like super slim. And I guess you were like letting me know, like, of course, you said like, yeah, of course we could come. Like, you know, I'm from Vegas. We used to hang out. We used to work together, blah, blah. So that was like, I was like, okay, that's like weird. Like a coincidence that like never really happens. But I was like, okay, cool. Well, dope. So I guess, yeah, I'll see you later on the boat. And you were like, yeah, we'll just meet up there and then, you know, we'll kick it or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay. Fast forwarding to the night, we basically met at the boat. I remember I actually was the person that came up to him and I was like, because I remember, the funny part is my aunt lived in Miami at the time. So my aunt was out there and I told her we were going, like us girls were going on a yacht. And she was like, please be careful. Like, y'all are still, you know, you're in college or whatever, but like you never know. People are crazy. You're on a boat. They could take you from another. But like I was like, okay. Like I was like, don't worry. We're meeting guys who I've talked to like on FaceTime. Like so they'll be there too. And I was like, they do know him. Like he's solid. Like that guy's not, you know, giving weird vibes or whatever. And she was like, oh, okay. And then it happened to be like closer to like it was like closer to Christmas time. And I remember it was her birthday. And I like kind of felt bad because I was like, dang, like would it be weird if I like tried to invite her and asked her if she wanted to come?
About your aunt?
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what, whatever. He said if I like bring my friends or whatever. He didn't give me a head count for my friends. So I asked her, I was like, hey, like, do you want to come with us? Just so like you feel better knowing that like we're with you and if anything happens, but also like it's your birthday and like for the weekend is your birthday and like I feel like it'd be good for you. And she was like, yeah, I'm down. So she was actually the person we got to like the dock of boarding the yacht. That was like, do you see him? And I was like, oh, yeah, he's over there. And she was like, are you going to go say something? And I was like, no, I'm going to wait for him to come up to me. And she was like, no, that's not how you do it. Like, you need to go and say hello because you need to show that, like, you see him and, like, hello, like, making the first, I don't know, conversation or saying the first thing is, like, really going to make an impact on somebody. Yeah, a presence. So I went, I was like, hi. It was so awkward. And I was like, hi. And we were like, oh, what's up, blah, blah. We introduced our friends to each other. I was like, oh, this is my aunt. And you're like, oh, crazy, cool. Happy birthday or whatever. Or, heard it's your birthday, blah, blah. We got on the boat, had a good time, everything like that. Then when we got off the boat, we had rode there with my aunt. So when we got off the boat, I remember him and his friends had asked me and my friends, like, do y'all want to come to our Airbnb and hang out a little bit? We can play some games, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. And my aunt was like, yeah, they seem like solid people. Like, I have your number. If, like, send me an SOS if you need anything. I'll come get you or whatever. But other than that, like, you know, you're good. So we went, hung out with them. And this is one thing I want to speak on because I feel like it was in a video I remember seeing that spoke on this exact scenario. And I feel like I don't know how a lot of people took it or how it came off, but when we did play games at the Airbnb, we played Never Have I Ever. And I remember, like, obviously we just met them, so, like, we don't really know them. And it's kind of like a good icebreaker, I guess. Like, oh, to kind of get to know someone. Never have I ever done that. Oh, wild, I have. Or so we're playing the game, and I remember somebody was like, never have I ever had a one-night stand. And I remember everybody raised their hand, like they never had a one-night stand. And I was like, whoa, like, okay, because I'm thinking, like, all of us, I mean, you just graduated college, I think, but, like, me and my friends were still in college, and, like, you guys were younger, so I was like, come on, everybody's been to college, everybody's done something stupid, or everybody's been drunk, you're from Vegas, I'm sure you've been drunk and had a one-night stand, like, but yeah, everybody raised their hand, and I was like, oh, and in my head, I'm like, that's crazy. Anyway, so fast forward. Did you talk about this part specifically in that, or did you?
Nope.
No. Well, anyways, long story short, I remember we hung out that night, blah, blah. The next day, he was going back to Vegas. He was going to catch a flight back to Vegas. We went back to my aunt's house. We also had to we had to drive back to Tampa at the time. So we were like, oh, okay, said our goodbyes, whatever, whatever. The night was had, long story short. And all I remember thinking was when we got in the car with my friends, I looked at them and I was like, dang. And they were like, what? I was like, now I'm going to be that girl that raises my hand for having a one-night stand. And I was like, that's kind of embarrassing. And I was like, but you know what? Whatever. Like, I mean, I had a good time with them. They were good people. They were good vibes. Like, whatever. So fast forwarding, EJ had sent me like a playlist. That was like the last kind of like conversation we had before he boarded his flight or whatever. And I was driving back because I was driving everyone else back. Everyone was still hungover from the night before. So I was the only one that was okay enough to drive and didn't feel like crap. So I'm driving us back. He sends me a playlist of songs to listen to on the drive and get back home, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. Like, I'm very into music. So I was like, that was the vibe that he sent me a playlist, like, of just different songs and stuff. Because that's one thing that night that we hung out and when we talked by ourselves was, like, different things we liked, different things we had interest in, artists, music, just, like, different hobbies and stuff. So it was kind of like, oh, like, he noticed that. He appreciated that. I appreciate that. So that was cool. Fast forward a little bit more. He obviously went back to Vegas. I'm home. I'm working because I worked at a dental office at the time. So, like, nothing was closed for me. A lot of places in Vegas I know shut down and stuff. And if you worked in the industry and stuff like that, y'all obviously weren't working. But at the dental office, I was just suited up, going to work every day, Monday through Friday. So after that, he had messaged me. We'd been kind of talking off and on, like, hey, good morning, hope you have a great day, like, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm like, this guy really still texts me, like, have a great day, like, I'm just like, okay, but whatever. Then come February, or the end of January, we started, like, FaceTiming each other every now and then when we had time, because the time differences were so different. It kind of made it where, like, there was only specific times we could really talk on FaceTime if we wanted to. And plus we both worked and the hours were weird. I mean, well, we both didn't work, but, like, I worked and the hours were weird. And then when you were getting up and, like, going outside to do a workout or working out stuff at home, because you did a lot of, like, at-home stuff at the time with, like, you kind of branding yourself and what you wanted to do. And outside of your actual work. We were trying to just talk whenever we could. Come like end of January, you had asked like, "Can I come to Vegas and for Valentine's? What are you doing for Valentine's? Can I come to Vegas?" And I was like, "It's COVID, so there's
Yeah.
not much to do, but I mean, if you can get here, you're more than welcome to come." I was like, "There's just like I said, not really many things to do." But I mean, you could kick it at my apartment. I go to the gym at my apartment. There's a pool at my apartment. Obviously, that wasn't closed because it was like as long as you stayed far away enough from people, they didn't really care. I was like, and I have a dog, so we can walk my dog and
Yeah.
we can just kick it at my house. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I remember a few places started opening up, but it was like you had to wear masks. It was like very limited seating, like
Yeah.
all that stuff as it was creeping up. And then you would call me and you're like, oh, okay, I booked my flight. And I was like, oh, okay, perfect. Send me the reservation details. And the reservation details, it was only like one flight. And the flight said from Vegas to Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay. And like your other flight. And then you're like, oh, I just brought a one way. Whenever you want me to go, you can kick me out and I'll just get a flight back. And in my head, I was like, that's wild. Like this man really just bought a one way. And
That's crazy. You remember that so like
yeah.
in detail.
Yeah. I was like, because I remember thinking, like, this man really bought a one way and told me I could kick him out whenever I want. I was just like, but in my head, I was like, okay, he said it. So, like, if it's 1 day, 2 days, a week, and I'm like, all right,
I mean, I didn't want to be trapped there if the vibes wasn't vibing, you know, like, oh,
yeah.
I gotta, like, my flight is
Is it
2
until,
days from today, like,
yeah,
it didn't work. So
Yeah.
I was like, one way would just work.
yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did that, and then I think you ended up staying for a fat ass minute. Was it a month? A month? 2 months?
I don't think it was that time.
Yeah,
Was it?
yeah,
Nah.
yeah. Yes, it was.
Are you sure I didn't come back?
No, I'm telling you, because my birthday was in May, and that's the first time I came to Vegas. Remember? So yes,
Okay.
because I remember you were telling me like you were on unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
you were applying for jobs. If somebody called you, you would have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember that you got a call for a job, I think. Remember, and you were like, "Oh, I got an interview,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna have to probably fly back."
Mm.
And that was probably after like 2 weeks, I think, of you staying. And in my head, I was like, "Dang, I was just kind of getting like comfortable with this. Like it was kind of cool." And then I think you were like, "Never mind." I don't know if they ended up hiring somebody else like right before the interview or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, "Oh, never mind." Like, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, "Oh." But yeah, I think you stayed for like a month.
Okay.
And then after that, yeah, you had went back home. I think we just were like, oh, okay, like you were like, I probably should go home, see my family, check on them, because yeah, your family isn't from America, so obviously you try to make sure they're good and all that stuff too. So yeah, I think you went back home, and then fast forwarding a little more, I came out here to Vegas for my birthday in May.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think after that it was kind of like just back and forth of us hanging out and flying back and forth to each other. And then when COVID became out of COVID, then we had a little bit more ability to fly and stuff like that.
So how long were we doing that for?
So flying back and forth?
Yeah. That was what, 2 years?
Yeah. I was going to say probably that. I came in May for my birthday with my friend, and then I came back again for 4th of July because it was your birthday.
Mm.
And then I think, yeah, you'd asked me to be your girlfriend on your birthday.
Right.
And yeah, after that we were flying back and forth, yeah, for probably a solid few years. 1, 2 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then for the people that don't know, we did it for 3 years before the breakup.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny because like officially, I guess you could say, yeah, we starting July of, what was that, 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Up until, was it 2024?
Yeah.
August
October.
or October of 2024.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, for the people that don't know, we did go through a breakup, and I kind of want to touch on that experience of from a woman's perspective and from my perspective of what was that like point of where you were like, all right, this is enough? Or should we just touch on like how we got there, or
How we got to breaking up?
yeah, or should we just talk about?
Um, Sorry.
Because I still want you to clear your name, so like, because you did get a lot of backlash, and I want you to clear your name, so the followers have a different perspective from you. Um, so if there's anything you do want to say for the women out there or for the men that are going through their own battles in their relationship, like, is there anything you want to say on your behalf of like, hey guys, like, or
Mm, in regards to like the breakup?
yeah, just to like so people don't think you're this horrible person.
Well, I feel like obviously when you tell people about your life,
Mm-hmm.
especially on like a platform like YouTube or just social media in general, there's a lot that people don't actually see and don't actually know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, I mean, I see pictures and videos of people all the time, like on TikTok and YouTube, and like, and I feel like specifically like before when we were making videos, I know I saw people like make comments about how I didn't look like I was in love with him, or I look annoyed, or like I didn't want to be there, or I wasn't feeling it. And like, to be honest, I feel like at the time in those videos, we were going through a lot like in our relationship. And one thing about me is like I'm a very real person. I like people who are authentic. I like to be authentic. And I feel like on social media platforms, a lot of people will try to portray things being a certain way, even though they're not. And I feel like there's certain videos that I was in before that, like, I was really kind of trying to fight my feelings of what I felt towards our relationship and towards you at the time.
Mm.
When we went on camera, like to try to act like everything was cool, and like we're still riding together, I guess you could say, and like
Mm-hmm.
everything's perfect. And I feel like it was very hard for me to like act like that. And at least if I still tried to talk like it was, I feel like my facial expressions, like I couldn't hide that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like what we were going through in our relationship at the time, like, was a very hard time for me because like I did move out here. Yeah, after the 2 years we did long distance, I did move out here because I was like, you know what, like he's very persistent in our relationship. Like it is moving in the right direction, but like we are at the age too where it's like, oh, okay, like I'm not dating to date. Like
Mm.
I'm out of college now, and like I'm not sitting here and just trying to date somebody to date them, or like get taken to the movies or have a cuddle buddy or have spooky season with. Like it wasn't even like, it was to the point where I was like, oh, okay, like I'm looking to have a husband, I'm looking to get married and like keep going with my life on the
Mm-hmm.
direction I was wanting to go. So I was like, doing long distance is like very hard. The only way to know is like living together and like actually being together in the same place, because like we seem so good far apart, but it's like it's just so frustrating to try to love somebody from so far, because it's like I'm jealous of the people that get to be around you. I'm jealous of the people that get to hang out with you all the time. Like if I had that time, like the things that we could do and where we could go and like traveling and like memories we could make, and it's like so much harder to do that long distance. So I made the decision to move out here. I feel like for us and for me and for you, and to try to build our relationship like live in action, I guess you could say. And I feel like by doing that, I made a sacrifice in my life and where I was at the time for our relationship and for you. And by doing that, I felt like that was already hard for me. I came out here not knowing anybody, not ever having really been to Vegas other than when I came like after I met him on my birthday and for his birthday and when I come back and forth. But like before that, I had never been to Vegas, never even really been on the West Coast. So like everything moves a little bit different, obviously, from the west side to the east side of the United States. But it took a lot for me to already adapt to moving somewhere and like not having family, not knowing anybody. Like if I had a bad day, like I would go to my mom's house. Like here, it's like, dang, like I have to call my mom. I got to check the time. Is she off of work? Like it was just so much. I was like, dang, like this is hard because like I can't even go to my friend's house real quick and like go and vent to her. Like I have to see if she's at work. Like so it just took a lot of adapting already for me to do that. And then for me to come out here and like do that and make the sacrifice and then feel like certain things or certain ways in the relationship that like I was treated or the way that things happened or like actions that were made that really I felt like never had no what's the word? I don't know, like sense of how the other person felt. Like I'm very much when I make decisions and I always think of like myself and like the other person when I'm in a relationship, and I felt like that I regularly that should be a normal like way you think. And I feel like it didn't feel like that with a lot of decisions that were made and like things that you did in the relationship and like how things happened, and I just couldn't understand it. And I feel like every day like it would start to just kind of get to me like, okay, when you forgive somebody for doing something, like you have to actually forgive them. So I would try and I'd try to actually forgive you. And then something else would happen similar
Yeah.
to the scenario before. And I'm like, okay, like this is technically a different scenario, but like it's realistically the same principle. So I don't understand how we're making the same mistake on the same principle when it's like that doesn't make any sense. Like if you say you won't do that again or whatever, I expect that, like
Right.
I deserve that. And I feel like I was owed that because I did give so much to the relationship. I did provide a lot of like emotional stability. I was very vulnerable with you. I was very honest with you. How I moved was very real. Rather it was seen like that on cameras or not. But yeah, I think it just got to the point where like I started to realize that I was feeling like I wasn't really valued in the relationship. And because I was feeling like I wasn't valued, I started to almost unvalue myself personally. Like I started to just get to a point where I would start going crazy. I started getting where I couldn't trust you, or I couldn't believe what you were saying if you were actually telling the truth or if you were lying. And I hated having to feel like that. Like I would check, if you went to the gym, I would literally check your location so many times just to see if you were actually at the gym for 3 hours. Because I was like, this man like has said things before and done other things, and I just don't like, I can't let myself get in the habit of making that okay, because I keep accepting his apology and believing that he'll never do this again or never do that again. So yeah, I got to the point where I think I got just like, it started making me go literally crazy. And I was like, this is not healthy. And then I think because I was going crazy and like I would overthink because I couldn't trust you at the time and everything like that, I think it had started almost making me feel like I was resenting you as a person. And I think that's where I kind of had to draw the line of like, oh, okay, like he's not a bad person. He's just making decisions and mistakes that he doesn't, I guess, really understand or doesn't know how to move the right way or what I'm needing in a relationship. And I can't continue to let it make me go crazy for trying to act like it's okay. So, and I also didn't want to sit there and like grow to hate you all around as a person, because like you are a good person and I feel like everyone does make mistakes and things do happen, but it's like at what point do you stop letting like people walk all over you? Like what point do you kind of be like, okay, like I've had enough, like I can't do it anymore? And I remember like it got so hard for me that like when I did break up with you, I cried. And I remember like crying really bad, and I was like telling you like I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And you were like, do what? Like, and I was just like, and it was like even harder because I feel like every time we talked or I would try to explain something to you about how something made me feel, I didn't feel validated on it, and I didn't feel like you really understood, and your reactions to it when I would tell you would be very defensive or dismissive.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, okay, like you don't care about me. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you did, like you'd really understand, like you're really hurting me. And like over a period of time, I can't continue to allow you to do that and you be okay with it and then do it again and be like, well, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm not anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sorry that you did that because obviously you're moving a certain way and doing certain things that like you keep thinking an apology will fix and it doesn't anymore.
Mm.
It got to the point where it was like, that's sorry is not going to fix it. And if I keep trying to band-aid it, like sorry does fix it, I'm still losing trust for you. I'm starting to resent you. I don't want to be hugged by you anymore. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel safe by you. I don't feel secure. Like all the things that I feel like you should value in a relationship, I started not to feel.
Mm.
And I was just like, you know what? Like, yeah, I couldn't do it anymore. And I didn't want to grow to the point of like, I never want to hate anybody because I do understand and I do see people as they are and like people do make mistakes and I truly know, I mean, I do that. I truly know that that happens and like real things will lead into other things and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that." Like
Yeah.
but like it has to really like resonate with you in a way that like you know like dang, I love that person so much. I would never want to do that again to them.
Right.
And I never felt like at the time that that's how you would feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in my head I kept thinking like, "Oh, like this is probably how he feels." But like your actions and your words when you say sorry wouldn't show that. So it was
Mm.
like I don't get why I'm still in a relationship if someone can't one admit that they're wrong and truly feel sorry about it, but then also start changing how they move to show like, look, I don't want to hurt you. I'm so in love with you. I'd never do that again. And like ever put themselves in a predicament to even be put in a situation like that. Because that's one thing about me. Like I don't ever like to put myself in a situation where something looks like it shouldn't. Like where something looks like, oh, is that what's going on? Because like, no, you're not ever gonna have to guess like if that's what's happening, if that's what's going on. Because I don't allow myself to be put in situations that are like that.
Mm.
And I feel like that's one thing I'd really value in somebody in a relationship is somebody being able to acknowledge that and then also be like, you know what, I'm not even gonna risk
Mm-hmm.
losing this person because I love them so much or because, you know, I did something stupid. Like that will never happen again because I am so in love with them and I do see myself marrying them and having kids with them. Like that is my wife. Like I'm using this moment to actually grow and understand like to love somebody is to really love them and understand like okay, she said set this as a boundary or set this as a standard in the relationship and I need to respect that because I respect her. And that
Mm-hmm.
was just something I didn't feel.
Now, I do want to say you are very strong for understanding your feelings and leaving because it takes a really strong person to do that instead of just staying there. So I will say that you are strong for that. I know it killed me, and I know it was killing you even more that you left. And at that point, I was very immature with the way I treated you. I was super selfish with the way I treated you. And now from the breakup, I did do a lot of self reflecting. I did learn a lot. That was one of my first breakups. So now how when people say when you lose somebody, like you don't really know what that feels like until like you experience that yourself. And for our relationship, I've never experienced that. So like I feel as that breakup taught me a lot because now I know like how I felt and I would never want to put somebody through that feeling because those days were very dark for me and I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know who to talk to about it because I didn't want to tell nobody until it got to the point I was like, damn, like I have to like at least tell somebody because if not, like I'm really gonna go crazy. And uh, now, like I said, I know what it feels like, so I don't ever want to put somebody through that. And I feel like people have to go through those experiences to so they understand what it feels like, and so they could gain some knowledge through self experience. Because, like I said, you don't know how that feels like. Somebody could tell you they could they could describe it exactly how it feels like, but you will never know what it feels like until you go through it yourself. Um, but yeah, what do you feel like you learned from our breakup as a person, as as getting older, as a person that now has experienced this new city? Um, tell talk to us about like what you learned from our relationship to pass our relationship to like yourself.
Mm, my value.
Mm.
I feel like I feel like anybody when they're in a relationship and then they break up, you lose like you feel like you lose value in yourself.
Mm.
I feel like everyone has that feeling, and it's like you lose value in yourself. You lose comfortability,
Mm-hmm.
and you lose focus because those are like. Hold on, something.
Oh no, what just happened?
I don't know. That's like I'm posting.
Okay, we still have on this one.